Corinthians, the 9th chapter, beginning at verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an eternal, incorruptible crown. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air, but I keep my body under subjection, lest that by any means when I've preached to others, I myself should be disapproved. And then the 12th verse, wherefore, of the next chapter, wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. There hath no trial or temptation or trouble taken you, but such as is common to all men. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to suffer to be tempted above that you're able, but will with the temptation or the trial also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. Young people today are faced with so many problems, especially peer pressure. And the hardest word that young people have to say today is the little word no. Whether it's drugs, whether it's picking up a cigarette, whether it's illicit sex, whatever it is, it's the hardest word. Do you say no when the peer pressure comes? When the hormones begin to rise? When the excitement is there? Yes, we're all tempted. But there's no temptation taken you but what everybody else has had. You say, well, did Jesus have temptations like that? Of course he did. He said it says he was tempted in every point like as we are, yet without sin. Because the moment you're tempted, God provides a way to escape. There's a way out. He provides it. But you have to make the decision to go that way, and when you make that decision, the Holy Spirit is there to help you and give you strength and courage. And then another man, another person in the Bible, a young person, was named Daniel. In Daniel 1:8 it says, Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor the wine which he drank. Daniel was a young man with a purpose. His motivation to serve God had come early, because Nebuchadnezzar, the great king of Babylon, had come over to Jerusalem and captured Jerusalem, captured the king, and captured a few young Jewish men that he wanted to take back to Babylon and train them in the language of Babylon and all the ways of Babylon, so that they could be of help to him in running his empire. And one of them was Daniel. And he wanted young men with whom there was no blemish, well-favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning and knowledge and understanding science. He wanted him to be proficient in physics and all the scientific studies of that day. And during the period of training, they brought the finest foods for Daniel to eat. But Daniel wanted the simple lifestyle. He wanted to eat ordinary food. He didn't want to eat the rich food off the king's table. And he asked the head of their training program, his professor, if he could do it. And the professor hesitated. He said, if the king finds out about it, I'll lose my head. So Daniel said, well, why don't you give us 10 days and let's try it out. And so in 10 days, they fed them just beans and water and the things that Daniel was used to eating, simple food. And when the 10 days were finished, Daniel and his friends were stronger and better looking than all the others that they'd been feeding all those fine foods to from the king's table. How different from those who can't wait until they get away from home to live it up, because Daniel had been taken 1,500 miles. Who would know?